Hello, my dear students, and the rest of the learners. Welcome to part 13 of an 18-part series of tutorials in applying spreadsheet using Microsoft Excel. In this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate on how to perform or implement totals and subtotals in a spreadsheet. My name is MemJM, or you can simply call me Emily Swap. What is totals or subtotals function? The subtotals function is a function that is used to summarize detailed data in long lists by displaying subtotals for smaller records within groups of values. For example, if you have a list that contains students' marks for many students, you can calculate the average for each student automatically using subtotals. To insert subtotal and GrandTotal in a list, number one, you sort the list by the column for which you want to calculate subtotals. Number two, you click a cell in the list that will have subtotals. Number three, on the data menu, you click subtotals. Number four, in the at each change in box, you click the column that contains the groups for which you want subtotals, or the same by which you sorted. Number five, in the use function box, you click the function you want to use to calculate the subtotals. Number six, in the add subtotal to box, select the checkboxes for the column that contain the values for which you want subtotals. Then number seven, you select the checkboxes for replace current subtotals and summary below data. Lastly, you click on OK button to apply. The following is therefore a demonstration on how to compute subtotals in a worksheet from a workbook called Emily Swap Term 2 Results. So this is the workbook by the name Emily Swap College Term 2 Results, in which we are going to apply the totals and subtotals function. Now, when you look at this document contains several students, and these students belong to several classes. One of the classes is 2A. We have another student or some students in a class called 2C. We have others in a class called 2B. So when you look at this list of students, we have several students that belong to different classes. Some in class 2A, others in class 2B, others in class 2C. So we can compute subtotals for each of the classes, and then we can also compute grand total for the or for the entire set of classes. That is for 2A, 2B, and 2C. So how do we go about it? So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to sort these students based on class. So we are going to select the cells that contain our students and the one which we want to compute subtotals and grand total for. And therefore, we are going to click on cell A2, then press your left mouse button down and drag it over the cells that contains the data that you want to sort. And then we are going to click on data menu. From the data menu, you click on sort. So let's click on sort. After clicking on sort, as you can see, we have a sort dialog box. This sort dialog box contains several options that we can take. The first item on this dialog box is this section that has the my data has headers. And as you can see, we have headers. We have the class, we have first name, last name, ICT, OS, SP, CSK, and totals. So because we don't want the headers to be sorted, but we can assist us in the sorting process, then we need to check on my data has headers checkbox. So how do we do that? We do that by just clicking on the checkbox called my data has headers. If it is only checked, it should remain checked. But if it is not, you click on it. And now it reads my data has headers. Then under column here, we have sort by. So we want to sort our students by class. So we click on class. Under sort on, we specify how we want to sort. Sort by values, sort by color, sort by font color, color, or cell icon. I want to sort my students based on the values that are in the cells, like 2A, 2C, 2B, etc. So I click on values. Then under order, how do I want my students to be sorted or arranged? I want them to be arranged in ascending order from 2A to B to C. So I'll click on A to Z. Lastly, I'll click on OK. So my dear students and the rest of the learners, you can see that our students have now been sorted in order of their classes. You can see we have those in 2A, we have those in 2B, and those in 2C. Once we have done our sorting, the next activity or action that we can take is now to compute the subtotals for our data. Now, these subtotals, our subtotals will be based on the classes. And therefore, we are going to select our data again so that we can compute the subtotals. So you click on the first cell and then drag your mouse over the data that you want to compute subtotals for. Then click on data and click on subtotal. This here, you click on subtotal. From the subtotal dialog box, as you can see, we have several options that we need to set. So at each change in, so under this button here, you select the field that you used for sorting your data. And in this case, we want to compute subtotals for our students based on class. So I'll click on class. Remember, even the sorting has been done based on the field class. So I'll click class. Use function. Under the use function, you click on this button and choose the function that you want to use in computation of your subtotal. And which function do we need here? Is it sum? Is it count? Is it average? Is it max? Is it mean? Is it product? No. our main function that we want to use is sum. Sum is a function that is used for computing totals, and I'm interested in computing subtotals. So under use function, I click on sum function. Then under the and subtotal tool, here you specify where you want your subtotal to be placed. Do you want to have subtotals under class? Do you want to have subtotal for under first name? Now, my subtotal will be placed under the total field that is in the column H. So below each student's total, that's where I want to compute my subtotal. So I'll click on total. I'll choose total. Then under replace current subtotals, if there's any subtotal there, it can be replaced with the current. So you choose this checkbox, replace current subtotals. And a page break between groups. Do I want to break my students based on the subtotals so that each of the category is in its own page? No. But I can also include summary below the data. This is for indicating the grand total. So because I want the subtotals to be computed below all the subtotals, you check on summary below data. And then I will click on OK. Good. As you can see, my dear students and the rest of the learners, we have 3 subtotals here. The first subtotal is 2A total. Let me even shade it. Let me shade that cell. So this is the first subtotal. And as you can see, the total or the subtotal has been placed under the total, just below the total for the first student, the second student, and the third student. So we have the first subtotal here, that is in cell H6. And that subtotal is for class 2A. If you check below here, in cell A11, you can see we have the next subtotal. This subtotal is called 2B. So the students in class 2B, who are 4, have their subtotal in row 11, and that subtotal has been placed in cell H11, as you can see. And that subtotal is 924. The last subtotal is in class 2C, or is for class 2C, as you can see. So the subtotal for class 2C has been placed in row 16, and that subtotal is 1000, as you can see. My dear students and the rest of the learners, if you were to add 278 plus 262 plus 230, you can see that that gives us 770. So that is the subtotal for the 3 students. If you add 273 plus 227 plus 213 plus 211, you will see that that subtotal, which is 924, is the sum of those 4 totals. Then if you are to add 222, 269, 254, 255, you will see that the total for those 4 scores is 1000. Lastly, there is what we call the grand total. So this grand total is the total for all subtotals. This is the total for all subtotals. As you can see, if you add those values, you are going to get the grand total. So what is the grand total? The grand total is 2,694 that has been placed in row 17, but specifically in cell H17. So this 2694, let me increase its font size. And I can underline it. So this 2694 is the accumulated sum of the three subtotals. 770 plus 924 plus 1000 gives us 2694. And that's what we call the grand total. And with that, my dear students and the rest of the learners, that's how we compute the subtotals and the grand total for our data in a worksheet. You can now continue to part 14 of 18 on auditing a worksheet. Congratulations for learning part 13 of 18 on computing subtotals and grand total in a worksheet. You can access other parts in applying spreadsheet series as well as other computer or ICT videos by clicking or tapping on MLSwap ICT YouTube channel below this video. To subscribe to the channel, tap on subscribe button below this video in YouTube if it's not currently reading as subscribed. For any further correspondence, kindly write to us through the email emilyswap@gmail.com. Let's meet in part 14 of this series, and God bless.